All right, so I wanted to just do a quick little math lesson. We were supposed to start with coins this week, and I want to just kind of gradually get into it. But what we have are 3 coins that we're going to focus on today, and the first coin is a penny. So this is a penny. The next one, we have a nickel. Now, if you look here, we don't generally have a hole in a nickel, but I'll tell you what this is for later. Then we have a dime. And a nickel's a little bit bigger than a dime, and it's fatter than a dime. So we're going to talk about these 3 coins and what you'll see on the front, which is heads, and what you'll see on the back, which is tails. So the very first one is a penny, and it is worth 1 cent. It can be written like that, or it can be written like this with a dollar sign, a 0.01. All right, and so it's going to take 100 of these to equal $1. If you look at the front, it's someone that you guys might remember from when we talked about presidents. It's Abraham Lincoln. So I am just going to write Abe Lincoln. And if we look at the back, we're going to see the Lincoln Memorial. And the Lincoln Memorial, if you look really, really close, I'll pull it up so that you can see. But if you look inside of the Lincoln Memorial, you can actually see Abraham Lincoln sitting there. Kind of hard to see, but right in the middle, there's a little statue, and that's Abraham Lincoln's statue. Pretty cool. So we have our heads, we have our tails. Oops. And if you find an old penny will have 2 stalks of wheat. So the Lincoln Memorial replaced that. All right, and then we're going to look over at our nickel. So this is our nickel. I guess I should write this as the penny. And our nickel is worth 5 cents. And it can be written like this, or it can be written with a dollar sign, 0.05. And it's going to take 20 nickels in order to equal $1. And if you look here, you guys might also recognize who that is. It's our 3rd president, and that's Thomas Jefferson. So he's on the front. You might remember his name. We talked about him. He was the main author of the Declaration of Independence. And if I turn it over, I'm going to see this place called Monticello. And that is actually where Thomas Jefferson lived. It's in Virginia. Now, I told you that I was going to explain what that dot was for. So when we're counting coins, sometimes it gets tricky when you have to count from 1s to 5s to 10s to 25s. So what I do is when I see a dot, I make a note that I am only counting by 5s when I see a dot. So you'll see when I see a nickel, I have 1 touch point. I'll say 5. If I have 2 nickels, I imagine those dots on them and I say 5, 10. So that's just a little way that it had helped me when I was in 2nd grade. And if I look over at my next one, this is a dime. So I'm going to write dime down here. And the dime is worth 10 cents. Or you could write it like this again, 0.10. And you'll see it has two different touch points. And those two different touch points, every time you touch a touch point, it's going to be 5 cents. So 5.10. And here we have 10 of these will equal $1. Now, I'm not sure that we talked a lot about this president, but it is Franklin D. Roosevelt. And on the back of it, you want to come up? On the back of the dime, you'll see that it has a couple different things. Money, yeah. And on this, you'll see a torch. You'll see an olive branch and an oak branch. Now, I want to see if you guys can find out the reason that those three things are on the back of a dime. So it's a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch. So I want you to think and find out what the reason is. All right, so if I have a couple dimes, hold on, be nice. Here, you can write on this. Come over here. Whoop. You write right here. Sorry about that. If I have a few different dimes, I can get a few out. We'll practice counting with those touch points. Now, you don't have to do that. It might be easier for you just to count by tens. You might say 10, 20, 30. But for those of us that need a little bit of extra help, you can imagine 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. It's still going to give you the same answer. It's just a different way. All right. And a penny doesn't have any because a penny, I imagine a line underneath of it and I just swipe my finger. I say 1. So if I were to count all of these together using those touch points, it would be 5, 10, 15, 16. Okay. All right. I wanted to show, oh, I forgot to tell you guys. I just found this out and I think it's pretty cool. Here, you can play with that. If you look really closely at these coins, there are letters underneath the date. And those letters, I did not know this until today, actually represent what location the coin was made in. So these say D. Now that would represent Denver, Colorado. If it has an S, it would be San Francisco. And if it was a P, it would be Philadelphia. So those are pretty cool little facts. All right. I am going to erase this. You want the eraser? Here you go. Let's take a look up here. And we're just going to go over these little poems. It's penny, penny, easily spent, copper brown and worth 1 cent. And then we're going to go to another small coin, and that's the dime. Dime, dime, little and thin. I remember you're worth 10. And then finally, nickel, nickel, thick and fat, worth 5 cents. I know that. This might help you remember what each is worth. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, hold on. What do you want? Here? You want it on the back? You want me to write? Can you do that? All right. And then let's look over here. So if I combine, oops. a few of these coins. We're going to practice counting them. We'll see if we can trade for a bigger coin once I have them all out here. Okay, so let's count those pennies. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 cents. Could I trade 5 pennies that are worth 5 cents for another coin? If you said yes, then you're right. I could trade it for a nickel. So there's my nickel. It looks a little different than the one I showed you guys. And I could get rid of all of 5 of these pennies and keep 1 coin so my pockets aren't jingling so much. All right, let's count our nickels. So I'm going to put some nickels down here. And we are going to count them. All right, let's count these guys. And I'm going to just go ahead and have you guys count by 5s because that's what a nickel is worth. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So that would be 40 cents. What do you want? You went down? You went down? No, what do you want? You want this? Here, take it. You want to take it over here? There you go. Sorry. So we said that's 40 cents. If I were to write 40 cents, it would look like, let me borrow this. If I were to write 40 cents, it would look like this. Either 40 cents, or it could be $, 0, decimal, 40. There you go. There you go. You're welcome. All right. Now, could I trade 40 cents for some bigger coins? Think about how many dimes you would need if you had 40 cents. All right, if you said you need 4 dimes, 1, if it'll work, 1, 2, 3, 4, then you're right because I have 10, 20, 30, 40. So that would make it easier for me to carry 4 coins rather than the rest, and rather than 8 coins. All right. So there's our 40 cents with dimes. Tomorrow we're going to go ahead and do some combinations of coins. So I am just going to have you guys work on sorting the coins today into with the correct name and the correct amount. And then we're going to go ahead and start combining them. So it was just a quick little review, and hopefully you guys were able to understand me even when I was chatting with Hattie. So thank you guys. I'll see you later. Bye.